Have you ever wondered why you always find the same kind of relationship? Why you always fall into the same mode with the same type of people? If you ask somebody from the new age spirituality, they're gonna tell you because is that you're vibrating in a low frequency. And because you're vibrating in a low frequency, you're gonna attract things to your life that are in that same frequency. And then there are gonna be things that you don't like. So if you don't wanna do that, then you have to increase your frequency, so then you attract all those things that are beautiful, and then maybe you're just gonna attract the person you're looking for. I call it bullshit. Why? Because we don't attract a person, we look for a person. We look for what exactly? Thank you for asking. We look for traits, we look for familiarity. That's what we look for. Why familiarity? It works like this: we look for things in a person that reminds us. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. It reminds us of a situation we lived when we were little. It's like, for instance, let's pretend that you're a smoker. Most people that smoke start smoking in the teenage years, around there. They start smoking there and then, and they connect the smoking with the fun times or the bad times or whatever times they live in during that time. You grow up and then you act out the same thing, which means that, let's say I ask you, why don't you start smoking? And you say, because I like it. It's not necessarily that you like smoking, it's that the smoking connects you to that situation, to that time, to that moment where you were young and dumb and doing crazy things, and you have no worries in life, and life was fun. Yes? The same thing happens in relationship. We look for familiarity, something that connects us to something we lived when we were little or younger. Let me give you a better example. I was having a conversation earlier today with a client. She told me about this online course she was taking with a psychologist, and she realized that there was a situation she lived when she was little. She understood why she was having issues with men finding the same type of men. Long story longer, she saw her mom cheating on her dad, and she thought, mom bad, dad good. I have to care for my dad. I have to look out for my dad because mom bad. So she, growing up, she acted out the defending dad, defending the man, excusing the man. Yeah. And now she said, yeah, I'm gonna continue like that, and I'm gonna change that stuff. I'm like, are you really? What's gonna happen next week? She's like, what do you mean? I said, what's gonna happen next week when you forget what you just learned? Because trust me, we get a new age book or a psychology book or something like that, and we learn something like this, and we say, oh my God, this is it. I understand why I'm doing this. And then a couple of days come, and then you just forget what you just learned, and you go back to default mode. Why? Because that's how we wired, and that's what we do, because it's familiar. And that's why we do it. She said, no, I'm going to do that because I want to change and stuff. I'm like, okay, well, you'll tell me later. See, it's not about who comes into your life, it's about who you allow to come into your life. Keep that in mind. It's not what who comes into your life, it's who you allow to come into your life. Yes? I said, well, if you do want to change, you need to keep that very right here. You know, you got to keep it in mind every day that you want to change that. It's a good thing that you understand why you did that. Now, if you don't keep that present all the time, you pretty much gonna go back into doing those things that you don't want to do. But there are things that you can do in case you want to change. Keeping in mind that we don't look for compatibility, we look for familiarity. But we don't want to look for familiarity, we want to look for who's compatible to us. So the first thing that you need to do is to understand, first of all, what the hell is it that you want? That's it. That's the first thing you need to do. I don't know if you want to write it down. I don't know if you want to make a video talking to yourself about the things you want. I don't know what you want to do. But if you want to change the habit of finding the same type of person, you need to understand what is it that you want in yourself and in a relationship. Otherwise, you're going to fall into the same trap again and again. Okay? Another thing is understand what your values are. You have to know your values. If you don't know, then start thinking about it or write it down or whatever. Do you value what you value? You value love, you value money, you value hugs, you value time together. What do you value? If you don't know, and if you value the wrong things, then just make them up again. Do that. Think about the values, think about what you like to feel instead, and then there's gonna be your values now. Also see what the values are in the other person. Because if values are not compatible, then you guys are not gonna be compatible no matter what. Yes? And how you do that? I always say you don't treat somebody the way you want to be treated, you treat them the way they want to be treated. I always say that. Why? Because it means that you took the time to understand what are the likes and the dislikes of the person. Once you understand that, then you can make the decision whether that person is for you or not. Yes? Keep in mind that that little girl is going to act out whatever she lived when she was little. It's very difficult to change that unless you really focus on changing it little by little. Okay, you're not going to change the habit overnight. Yes? At least these kind of habits, you're not going to change it overnight. So to recap, remember that it's not that you don't attract anything, but you look for familiarity in every situation that you're in. Talking about relationships. Remember that it's not that you are looking for compatibility, you're looking for familiarity. Yes? Remember that it's not who comes into your life, it's who you allow to come into your life. Remember your values and remember to treat the other person the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated. So let's leave it at that. All my information is below. Any questions, any comments, you know what to do. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.